The following video poster on the Cashless Welfare Scheme is by Reiss for SWH 400 Jenny Mays. The Howard government first introduced income management in 2007 as a part of the Northern Territory National Emergency Response. Income management policy has since continued to carve its punitive and paternalistic path within Australia's welfare system. The Cashless Welfare Scheme has been running as a trial since 2016 and was initially intended to run only for 1 year. On the 17th of December 2020, the Social Security Administration Amendment Continuation of Cashless Welfare Act 2020 received royal assent. The Act supports continuation of the Cashless Welfare Card for a further 2 years in the East Kimberley, Ceduna, Goldfields and Bundaberg and Hervey Bay regions until 31st of December 2022. The scheme intends to support people, families and communities in places where high levels of welfare dependence coexist with high levels of social harm. However, the Cashless Welfare Scheme disproportionately affects Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The racist targeting of the cashless debit card indicates a continuation of colonial violence within the welfare system that again denies the self-determination of many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Minister for Family and Social Services Anne Ruston believes that the scheme's expansion will ease social harm caused by behaviours of alcohol, drug use and gambling. Minister Ruston has also stated that the cashless debit card is a personal development, capacity and financial literacy tool aimed at reducing the social harm caused by welfare-fueled drug and alcohol misuse and problem gambling. Mining magnate Andrew Forrest has always been a prominent endorser of the cashless welfare system. In 2014, he commissioned the Creating Parity report on Indigenous employment and welfare, which states income management was widely regarded as very helpful for vulnerable people to stabilise their budgets and maintain a stable household. To have policy informed on a reasonable basis, policy actors must have expertise and knowledge. Andrew Forrest is a senior business figure with limited policy expertise. This is articulated in the Creating Clarity report through a lack of evidence to support the recommendations offered through the report. A policy actor's position in society is formed based on their lived experiences and directly impacts policy outcomes. The voices of the people affected negatively by the cashless welfare system are often those that remain unheard and unacknowledged. Australia is a capitalist society. With capitalism comes inevitable imbalances of power, inequality and social division. The cashless welfare card serves as a continuing impact of colonisation for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The media creates a further divide between non-Indigenous and Indigenous Australian people, often lacking in concerns relating to Indigenous people and focusing on conflict and deviance issues. An example of this was in 2017 when Mr. Forrest's Minderoo Foundation released a graphic video of alcohol-fueled violence in northern WA to further push for the expansion of the cashless welfare. According to Van Kryken, this imagery sources racist and discriminatory beliefs. Social welfare paid for by the state is often seen as in political discourse as undeserved or at least worthy of suspicion. The media perpetuate people on welfare as individuals who are poor and untrustworthy. The policy fails to acknowledge the impacts of capitalism and how these impacts result in poverty amongst vulnerable groups. Amundsen and Zajac identify race, gender, and class discourses that directly impact drug and welfare policy in Australia. Cashless welfare policy presumes that the fact of being in receipt of income support, combined with certain discriminatory assumptions based on class, race, and gender, mean that a person is both more likely to experience addiction and unable to manage their financial resources. The Australian Institute of Health and Welfare 2018 provides statistics that state most Australians over the age of 14 consume alcohol, and Australia is one of the most prominent gambling countries per capita. A Marxist lens would argue that the policy punishes individuals based on their inability to manage their affairs, yet does not address the broader barriers associated with unemployment. The program has had some positive impact, for example, in tailored programs identified through individual vulnerability or problems, for example, child protection. However, significant research indicates many flaws within the research, including no individual or community benefits, and little research indicates that the cashless welfare scheme has any significant systemic positive impacts. The Australian National Audit Office published a report stating the approach was inadequate and ineffective when reducing social harm within communities. Other reports have indicated increased crime rates in East Kununurra and no reduction in family violence in other Kimberley towns. The substantial body of evidence stating no significant benefits to the communities across Australia continues to be ignored. The program is extremely expensive, costing $10,000 for each cashless welfare participant, but more importantly, it is ineffective. The cashless welfare scheme neglects prominent issues within Australian society. The system does not create opportunity, but instead contributes to further negative experiences, for example, stigma, social exclusion, and financial hardship of already marginalised populations.